Hello, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Spartan Wrestling Academy. My name is Neil, and I'll be your instructor. We also have here Brandon.
How y'all doing? My name is Brandon Rivers, wrestler at Bishop McNamara.
All right. Today's lesson will be just your basic wrestling, your wrestling 101. That includes your stance, how you get into your match, your engagements, which is your lock-ins, how you engage with your opponent, some takedown techniques. There's some defensive techniques, which is Sprawl and your wizards, and finally we get into our base. Show you how to build a strong base, so they don't take you down going into the second period or when you're down. So instead of talking about it, let's get into it. So first and foremost is your stance. Your stance is the way you stand and the way you enter the match. So to build a good stance, just stand up regularly, like shoulder width apart. So shoulder width apart. And if you're right-handed or left-handed, same goes with your foot. Whichever one feels stronger, I guess you would say. I'm right-handed, so my right foot feels stronger, so I'll put that forward. Brandon's right-handed too, so he put his right foot forward. And then now, like this, we have a pretty good stance, but we can still get pushed over. As you can see, if I push him, he'll just push over like that. All right? All right. Now, to make it even stronger, we're gonna lower our center of gravity by putting our whole shoulder down and our body down. So you lower like that. There you go. So now, not only you have a low center of gravity, you have an even stance. And at this point, go ahead. I can push him, and he can balance himself standing up. Now, third step is how to put your hand up. This is the way you swat the opponent's grabs, or the way you control your opponent. The basic one is to keep your elbows in. So elbows in like this. But I always say it's your personal preference. For me, I don't like exerting all that force, because when I'm like this, I feel like my shoulder's getting tired, or if I'm like this, or if I'm like this, my back's getting tired. So what I usually do is I relax like this. And this is how I start my match. So let's say this is 2 lines. We get it to match. That's his stance, and this is my stance. All right, so that's first step of basic wrestling 101. It's just your stance. Now we're gonna get into, let's just recap. So first you stand, shoulder width apart, put your strong foot forward, lower your center of gravity, and then your stance, the way you stand. So there we go. Second is your lock-in. This is how you engage your opponent. You already have your stance ready. You're already entering the match. You're ready to go. So now you have the stance. When the referee blows the whistle, beep, lock in. All right, basic. Let's turn this way. So when you lock in, your dominant hand goes in this neck area right here, and make sure your elbow is in. When your elbow is in, hold on, let go. Your elbow is in. You can control him whichever way you want him to. All right, so go ahead. All right, now let's get to the other side. Yeah. Now we get to the other side. Now you already have this in right here, and then you're gonna hold on to his elbow. So you have full total control of everything. Control. There you go. And that's how you lock in with your opponent. So you get in your stance. Referee blows the whistle, beep, lock in. All right. Make sure your elbow is in. Make sure you have a strong, tight grip. And make sure you have that tight grip on your elbows too. That's how you control your opponent. All right. Next is you're working your opponent. This is basically it's like a pre-step, or one of the steps into getting your takedowns. Or this is when you think on how to take down your opponent. So basic way of working your opponent is, so you get in your lock-in. Basic way is right here, you're just thinking of what you're about to do. You don't know yet. You're trying to feel how strong your opponent is, or what his technique might be. So you're gonna go ahead and working your opponent is just going around in circles, try to, put him down, put him, toward him from left to right, or like even shove him like that. So working your opponent is just your way of stalling. You're not supposed to stall in wrestling, but it's a way for you to show that the referee that you're working with your opponent, but at the same time, you're thinking of what you're about to do. So once again, get in position, beat, lock in, working your opponent. All right, so that's how you work your opponent. So we went over your stands, your lock-ins, and now how do you work your opponent? Next is your takedown techniques, of course. So when you're already working in your opponent, now you're ready to take him down. So we can do that. First one we're gonna do is elbow pop. This is one of the basic moves. It's the first move I've ever learned when I started wrestling, and it's very efficient. It's simple, but very efficient. So let's get into it. So let's do your stance, engage, beat. Easiest way to do it is when you're working your opponent. You go this way, opposite way. You see how his elbow is right here? Mm-hmm. What I'm gonna do is when I'm working, when I'm working my opponent, right when I get at this point, I'm gonna explode the other way. So let's do that again in slow motion. Beat. I'm right here. I'm gonna trick him like I'm going here, and I'm gonna go back this way, and right here I'm gonna use my legs and my whole body to explode out of that. And then at this point, as you can see, I have his elbow, I have his shoulder right here. I'm behind his whole body. At this point, I can just wrap around and either get his grip. Let me show you. Get his grip like this, and drop down and hip toss.
Greatest move ever.
Easiest move. It works. You have to be quick. Just make sure you set it up correctly. That's what working your opponent does. If you set it up correctly, it'll work like a charm. All right, so we went over that. Next one could be ankle pick. This is my personal favorite. I love ankle picking. They fall for it every time. So every time I do it, they fall for it. That's why I love it. So you engage. This one requires a little bit of tricking the opponent once again. This is when you pull your opponent. Hold on. Yeah, this. You pull your opponent, and then you kind of snap him down, and right when he pops back up, ankle pick. They call it ankle pick because if you can zoom right here, you pick their ankle, and make sure it's not up here, not up here. Make sure you get the cup of his heel, because right when you do, let's move over here, because right when you do that, all you do is this, and you already have your mount position. You already have 2 points for takedown. So that's the ankle pick. Let's do that again. Do it on me. All right, snap me down. You just got me. So that's your ankle pick. So just to recap over those two moves, we have elbow shove, elbow pop, and we also have the ankle pick. All right. Whew. Make sure you guys stretch and warm up before this. All right. All right. Next one is you already have your offensive 2 moves, very efficient. Now you're gonna go into your defensive techniques. How to stop your opponent from doing that ankle pick, or how to stop your opponent from doing that single leg takedown or that elbow pop. So once you're engaged, he's gonna throw a single leg at me, and what I'm gonna do is a move called sprawl. Is you take your hand in his neck right here, and you put all your chest weight, all your body weight down, and kick your left foot back, or whatever foot is out that he's not grabbing. So you kick it out. At this point, your leg should be right there. Your hand should be bringing his neck all the way down. All the way down. So you have control over his neck. And at this point, you can reverse it and go in his back and get your 2 points. So let's do that again. Single leg. That's your sprawl. All right. You all right? All right. Next move we have is your wizard. This one, it's not as easy as your sprawl, but it is a basic move on how to defend, once again, a single leg takedown. The way you do it is, we're gonna show it in slow motion. Let's just say you go for a single leg, go ahead. What I'm gonna do, I'm moving this way. No, turn around.
Oh, all
so we can show the camera. All right, right here. So he has this single leg, right? what I'm gonna do is take my hand, go underneath his armpit, and I'm gonna use my own knee right here to use as a leverage to pivot his whole body like that. At this point, I can put his neck down again and get free, and that's how you get out of a single leg takedown. So go ahead. There you go. Now, yanking it. So that's what you do. Huh?
I said keep torquing it.
Yeah. Make sure when he shoots like that, go ahead, shoot. Make sure that if he's not letting go, you want to put pressure in this elbow right here. You don't want to break it. That's illegal. But you can put as much pressure as you want to. Put his neck down, torque it as much as possible. He will be in pain. Look at this. I have full body control over him. I don't have to do anything at all. I can stay right here all I want to. All right? So that's your defensive technique.
Yeah.
So we have that going.
Floor stance. Floor stance.
All right, now we're going to go into, let's explain some of the rules real quick. Some basic rules about wrestling. Of course, you can't eye gouge. That's poking your opponent's eye. That's illegal, I think, in any sport. Another rule would be you can't grab sensitive areas, or you can't punch sensitive areas. That means, if you're wrestling a guy, you can't grab his genitalia. You can't grab his face. You can't punch his face. And if you're wrestling a girl, because girls do wrestle, and a lot of them do good and do well, you can't grab, of course, their chest. I mean, you can do your wrestling move, but if it shows that you're grabbing it on purpose and having a good time, then you're going to get, that's disqualification. So that's just some basic wrestling instructions. I'm a little out of breath. But, all right, so now we're going to get into having a strong base. Having a strong base is important because when you go into your second period, this is the way you start off. If you're down or if you pick down, this is how you start off. Having a strong base is when you go down to your knees, right? And you basically try to, what my coach used to say is, feel like you're a pit bull. Pit bulls are strong, and you gotta have a strong base like that. So you're down like this because you have two lines. Both your knees gotta touch the first line, and both your hands gotta touch the second line. And basically, look like a pit bull like this. All right, so he's gonna demonstrate you what a strong base look like and what a weak base look like. So I'm heavyweight, so usually my base is a little stronger. Go ahead. He's gonna try to take me down with full force. Go. So it's not working because I have a strong base, and my body's compact, and every time he tried to pull me down, I just counter it with all the muscle that I'm using when I'm in the base. Now, for a weak base, this is what it's gonna look like. Go ahead. Of course, this is taking into consideration that he is lighter than me, but when you wrestle with your opponents, you will find some of them are stronger even in your weight class or weaker. So I would go right here, a weak base, easy to break down. Easy to break down. So just make sure when you're on your base, you have a strong base, like flex every muscle you have and just, be compact. All right? So we went over our stands, we went over our lock-ins, we went over lock-in is your engagement, we went over, some takedown techniques, and we went over our defensive and base. So that is it for today. Hopefully you guys learned something, and just two things to keep in mind while you go out there. First, wrestling is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. And second is have
fun.
Have fun. Go out there and wrestle. So next tutorial. See you guys later. Go pen 'em. This is the worst song to end it. Right.
I like that. Go pin him at the end. Sound like a catchphrase.
Yeah.